Alright guys, so we're going to start off with this foldable. It's going to fold like this. It's going to fold like that, and then you're going to cut on the dotted lines. Cut on the dotted lines. And they're going to make flaps. We are talking about slope today, more like reviewing slope. So we're just going to talk about slope. Okay, so that's going to fold like that. And then this other one is going to make a book. So you are going to fold here. And you always want to make sure that you can see the title, and then you're going to continue to fold. Make sure you can always see the title, and then you're going to fold one last time to here. And then you're going to open it up a tad bit, almost all the way up, but not completely. And you're going to cut on top of the title to the center. And so that when you open up, there's a hole in the middle. You're going to fold like this. And then you're going to push. And that makes a book. It should have 6 problems in it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is you watched, or you should watch, the Slope Dude video. He's going, it's The Adventures of Mr. Slope Dude. So we're going to title our next empty page in our journal, The Adventures of Mr. Slope Dude. And then the mountain looks something like this. As he's going up the mountain, he's saying puff, puff, positive. So if I have a line that goes like this, when he goes down the mountain, he's saying nice, negative. So if we have a line that goes down from left to right, it's a negative slope. And then at this point right here, he says this is 0 fun, this is 0 fun. So a horizontal line has a 0 slope. And then at this point right here, he yells undefined. So a line that goes straight up and down has an undefined slope. Remember, to find slope, it's your rise over your run, or we can fall if we need to. We can fall over run. Also, the y-axis is the axis that rises and falls. So it's our y's over our x's. Okay, so now we're going to go over here. Be sure you wrote that down. And we're going to do this one. Just a quick review. In order to find slope from a graph, we need to find 2 pretty points. So 2 pretty points are points that lie right in the corner of a grid. So for example, this point right here, 0, 2 is a good point. And we could also use this point. I'm trying to find another good point. Right here. So 2, 5. So we go from left to right. From my left point to my right point, I'm rising. I'm rising 1, 2, 3. And I'm running 2. So therefore, the slope of this line is 3 over 2. Go from your left point to your right point. A positive slope goes up. A negative slope goes down. Okay? To find the slope from a table, we're looking at our changes on our y side. Remember, f of x is the same thing as y, over the changes in our x. So I'm just going to pick 2 points, and from 8 to 10, I change 2. And from 4 to 5, I change 1. I add 1. So I want to do my y's over my x's. So on my y side, I changed 2. On my x side, I changed 1. So therefore, the slope of this problem is 2, because 2 divided by 1 is 2. To find the slope from ordered pairs, we're going to use the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to go through and we're going to label everything. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have negative 6, my y2, minus my y1, which is negative 3, over x2 is 5, minus x1 is 2. So these two negatives turn into a positive, over 5 minus 2 is 3. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3 over 3, which simplifies into negative 1. So the slope for this problem is negative 1. And then lastly, from an equation, super easy, we're going to look at slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We have y, m, x, and b are our variables. Remember, we've been using m. M stands for slope, and slope is always attached to the variable x. So if I look at this problem, find the slope. My slope for this problem is the number that's attached to x. Therefore, negative 2 is the slope for this problem. If I look at this problem, 1/4 is attached to x, so the slope is 1/4. And if I look at this problem, there's not a number in front of that x, so it's understood to be a 1. So the slope for that last problem is a 1. So those are those notes. You can fold these in half, and then you can write slope on the front, glue this in your journal. So you have this in your journal, and you have this right underneath that. And then the last set of notes that we're going to do are these notes. For those notes, we're still, wrong one. These notes. For those notes, at the top, we're going to write the following. We're going to talk about rate of change. Rate of change is the same thing as slope. Remember that your rate of change is your y's over your x's. So we're going to write sentences for all of our problems. So every time you write a sentence, you want to do whatever your y-axis says is labeled as per. The keyword here is per, whatever your x-axis is labeled as. So let's come over here and let's do the first example. So if I look at this, it's a graph. I need to find 2 good points. So I'm going to use 0, 0, and I'm going to use 1, 5. To find the slope from a line, we rise and then we run. So I'm going from left to right, which means I'm rising. I'm rising not 1, but actually 5. I got to check what they're counting by. I'm rising 5 and I'm running 1. So the slope for this problem is 5 divided by 1, which is 5. Okay, that's only half of what we're going to do. We need to write a sentence that describes the scenario here. So we know that we have Paul, and he's working because he has a job. So we're going to say Paul makes, and our slope was 5. We're going to say Paul makes 5, and then we're going to read our axis. It's our y per our x. So $5 per, and then now let's read our x-axis, hour. Y per x, $5 per hour. So over here, we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing. We have our table, so we're going to do our change in our y over our change in our x. Okay, so we're going here from 11 to 17, that changes 6, and from 1 to 2, that changes 1. So the slope is my change in y's over my change in my x's, 6 over 1, which is 6. So we have Donna's yard service. Donna charges. And then we have our slope, 6. Let's see what the slope is talking about. Dollars. Keyword per. And then read our x-axis, hour. Pretty common sense. Y per x. Your y's per your x's. You always want to do that. Don't ever do your x per your y. Alright, I'm going to do one more. So you want your change in your y's over your change in your x's. So from my y's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, I'm changing 7. And over here I'm changing 1. So that's 7 over 1, which is 7. So my slope for this problem is 7. So we have delivery service charges. Delivery service charges, and then we have the slope, $7 per mile traveled. All right, you're going to do the rest. There's 3 more problems, and then let me show you real quick what your journal should look like. So you should have the Adventures of Slope Dude, and then the notes, and then you have this page with this page, okay? So that's what you have. If you have any questions, send me a message on Canvas.